Chris and Adam here with BeerMile.com. Today we're at Two Brothers Brewing in Warrenville, Illinois, and we're here to find the perfect Beer Mile beer. Let's go. I don't know, there's no not awkward way to do this. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Brendan McGrath. I'm operations manager here at Two Brothers. Been here 16 years, and I got some beers to try.
Rock on.
Well, we're excited. Did you ever think you would be working with anyone putting on a beer mile and working on a beer mile beer? Was this something you envisioned someday?
No, it was not.
At what point, I'm curious, like, before us, did you even know about the beer mile? Was it on your radar?
I did, but it was more of a small scale thing. I mean, I've run a few of them. We have a local running group that I run with, and once a year we might do a beer mile, but I didn't realize it was world championships. So Mel came out and saw her run, and she schooled me.
Killed it. Yep.
Pretty hard, realizing oh, okay. People are fast.
There's an art to this.
Yes.
Maybe let's dive in and start trying one beer, and then we'll get into more questions from there.
Yeah.
So which should we start with? Which would you recommend?
Well, we'll start on the left side. The darker one, Domaine du Page. It's our best-selling beer. It's a French country style ale. 6.5%, so it's a little stronger, but
oh,
for 6.5, it's pretty smooth.
Very smooth. Very smooth. I love the taste of that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this being a good beer mile beer?
Well, reservation here is it's a little strong. What you were
4,
looking for,
6.5% is tough, but it goes down really smooth.
Yeah,
it does.
Like you said, it's our best-selling beer, so I mean, you got to put it in there as throw our hat in there
for sure. So you've been here 16 years. How long has Two Brothers been in business?
We just celebrated our 26th anniversary, so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's it feels like forever ago. I started here, and showed up on my first day, started cleaning kegs, and we were in a small place on the other side of the business park here, and I worked there for about 6 months, and then we moved into this building and expanded quite a bit since then. But
what brought you into the beer business?
It was one of those things, like in college, I started drinking beer and trying some different beers, and I think craft beer was a bit younger back then, and so it was very exciting to get in and explore. And I'd always, just kind of liked it. I mean, I didn't study it or anything. I have a computer science degree, and got out and I was looking for jobs, and kind of lucked into this one, and was like, I'll give it a shot. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll like it. Maybe it'll be terrible. And
beer's a lot cooler than computers, in my opinion. As somebody who also has a computer science degree, I'm a little envious.
Although my job day to day is on computers these days.
People.
Planning and organizing everything, getting ingredients here, packaging materials here, everything, making sure everything goes smoothly down the line. And our brewer guys, they get to do the hands-on these days.
Fun stuff.
I'm pretty hands-off.
Okay.
But
so when you joined, how many beers did Two Brothers have, and versus what's the the number in the lineup now that you guys produce?
Let's see. When we first started, there's always kind of one-offs and one-around, but I think there was 4 year-round beers and then 4 seasonals. And then now we do 9 year-round beers, and we probably did 12 seasonal limited release last year.
Yeah.
So it's quite a bit.
How long has, I guess my follow-up question is, do we have the Weiss in this lineup?
We do.
I was curious, that's been in the lineup for quite some time, right?
Yeah. Weiss, that was our first year-round beer. This came from the brothers, just love of German-style beers.
Yeah.
And it's one of the harder ones to produce. Wheat is a little tougher. Most beers made with barley. I mean, a lot of beers use wheat, but it's such a high percentage. It's a lot stickier mash, and so it's a little trickier to.
It's more finicky in the brewing process.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. You really gotta pay attention to what you're doing. Like, make sure nobody snoozes on the job that day.
Yeah.
Right.
But
That is crazy. Like it's the brewery itself being open for 26 years. I turned 27 this past month, and like as early as I can remember, that beer has been in my family's fridge. So
wow.
it's really trippy to come out here and see all this. Yeah.
You were sipping it at 3 years old.
Yeah, 3 years old.
Yeah,
What's our next beer in the lineup here?
I put Prairie Path here as
Prairie
beer number
Path.
2. It's
All right.
yeah, it's a little lighter, clearer. It's a golden ale.
This is gluten-free as well, right?
Yes. There's an enzyme added in the process, and it breaks down the gluten during fermentation, so it comes out the other side.
Okay. We have had a number of people, not a large number, but more than one for sure, that have reached out and said they would love to do a beer mile, or just that we've talked to in the past. They'd love to do a beer mile, but they're gluten intolerant. Yeah. It's like, well, did you know? There are options.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a ton of them out there, but
right.
This one's lighter.
Much
crisp,
lighter.
But goes down smooth. And
are there methods to produce beer? So like you said that the gluten is removed after, or like sort of towards the end of the brewing process. Yeah. Are there different processes to remove it, like more up front, or is it more fundamental?
You just have to use grains that don't have gluten to begin with. You see some of the gluten-free breads with sorghum is one. It's usable, but it's a lot tougher. It's not. There's a reason they picked barley like the best one for beer. It's like got a good husk for filtration, like a lot of starch, protein content. So it's like just perfect for making beer. And the other ones, like, all right, you got to try. It's possible, but you got to work harder to get it out. You can use rye, but
was that like for the Prairie Path? Was it intentional? Like you set out with the mission of making it gluten free, or is that just kind of something that occurred within the process?
For the first, I'm not sure exactly when it was, but 8 or 9 years, it was not gluten free. The company launched the product, Brewer's Clarex, that removes or breaks down the gluten in there, and like, hey, we should use this, but in which one? It's like, well, this one's kind of a easier drinking, crowd pleaser type beer. It's like, so, hey, we're going to make it even more available to people. And
for sure,
it's taken off quite a bit from there. It's along with Domaine DuPage, it's our second best selling beer. So it's great, delicious. I mean, it's one of those ones like, if you don't know you're drinking a gluten-free beer, it would never cross your mind.
We actually discovered that it was gluten-free, like a few months ago. Even when we first initially started talking to you and you thought that Prairie Path would be a good option, we didn't know that it was gluten-free even at that time. And we'd been drinking it, like I've been buying it, but I just never paid attention because I just, not on the lookout for it. I just I like the beer.
It tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes good. So
not losing any
so I was like, oh, that's an
flavor.
added bonus. Added bonus. Oh, that's excellent. Okay, let's move down the line here. Let's go to this beautifully colored one.
Number 3.
Yeah. Well, this is the Abel's Weiss here. This is,
The fave.
yeah, the fan fave.
Cheers. Oh, I love that.
This is
I love
brewed
that
with,
one.
Banana peel.
There is no actual banana peel in there. It's all byproduct of yeast. It's barley and wheat, and it's the German Hefeweizen yeast. And during fermentation,
And that's what gives it the banana kind of flavor at the end.
Yep. It produces these flavors and just gives it its signature banana thing. But
It's amazing.
What ABV is Abel's Weiss?
this is 5. This is right there.
Okay.
Right there as well.
Right.
So
All these are beer mile
these two
legal.
are real close around 5.
What's the highest ABV beer you've done a beer mile with?
Oh,
Have you done
me?
a 6.5?
Just 6.
Yeah.
Bud Light Platinum is a very common choice, solely because it's a twist-off bottle.
Do you think you notice a difference between 5 and 6%?
I don't know. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I don't do beer miles frequent enough to have all my variables controlled.
It's
and
either
know, like,
0 or 1.
Yeah,
if
the
I'm
5% or
buzzed
the
not
6%,
afterwards,
but no, have not done 6.5% for sure.
Be like a heavyweight division of the beer mile.
Yeah. I mean, this is my favorite tasting beer,
sure.
and would drink a stein of that anytime. But I don't think beer miling. I don't know if that would be.
I feel like it would take away from my love of this specific beer.
Yeah,
I think you kind of find that with some of the beers that we've done in the past, where it's more like it's not just a crappy light beer. Where I've ruined a couple beers for like the rest of my life because they've had like certain flavors that if you drink 4 of them in a mile, you're like, I am done with that flavor for a while.
Yep.
It's also got a bit of a rounder finish, a little bit fuller. So
Yeah.
Drinking 4 of them is a little tougher.
Yeah.
Drinking 4 of them on a nice summer day on a patio.
Yeah, with no time constraints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over the course of a
Very
couple
different.
hours. Very, very different. No, that's a good one though. All right, what's the last one here?
The last one I got here is Wobble. It's a West Coast IPA.
Okay.
Had to put an IPA in here.
Yeah.
Everybody loves IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh yeah. The taste difference.
Yeah. This one's, at least to me, tastes way less hoppy for an IPA compared to the ones that I usually enjoy. I think it's a
That's
good
not
thing.
a good thing, I don't think.
The right word, or if it's less. I don't feel like I'm being personally attacked by this IPA. Some IPAs you drink and it's very unfriendly.
To your professional palate.
It's very broad these days. I mean, there's some of them, you can have an IPA that's 10% and just loaded with hops. And it can be tough, but I mean, I've always wanted drinkability in our beer. And it's kind of a silly thing, Bud Light or Miller Lite or whatever, one of those said, but it's like, but it's true. You want to be able to go back and have another, like, man, if you have some of those that are so thick,
some of
it's
those
like,
IPAs are one and done.
I'm just like, no, but I mean, we make those on occasion, but this one's a little more drinkable.
That's one of our rating factors on the highly scientific podcast.
Yes.
Drinkability and taste. So.
Drinkability. Oh man. So when you said that you've done some beer miles, what beers have you typically used for the beer miles you've done?
Typically I've gone for, man, I've done before. I've gone for more macro beers usually. Just, I think Coors Original. All right, they got the
Yep.
That hurts.
the stubby bottle, but goes down. I know it's tough to get sometimes cans like
Exactly.
quick.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've never done any weird like IPAs or tried any sort of like beers you wouldn't think of that should be for the beer mile just to see how it goes, anything like that?
I don't think I did any IPAs. I know I've done one with Prairie Path. Did one recently with Miller Lite, even though that doesn't quite make the cut. But it's not official. I'm not going to be in the championship.
You're not trying to submit an official record time.
Exactly.
Yep.
But even Miller Lite is tougher. There's just so much carbonation now, and it's not like easier. It's like, man, I should do more with.
Right.
White Claw is what? Also 4.2?
No, White Claw is 5. White Claw is 5.
White Claw's 5.
White Claw's 5.
I think White Claw.
Well, because that's the common misconception of, a seltzer will be so easy. I'll just do a seltzer. It's like, no.
Yeah, they have more carbonation, and so it makes it tougher.
That's right. Yeah, so I guess of the beers in front of us, when you're doing like testing or looking at the carbonation on any of them, are there certain ones that are lower, higher than others? Or
No, all these here are
About the same.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. There's something about the Miller Lights and Bud Lights, Budweisers. I mean, just the level. You open the can and it's just foaming out of there. You're like, this is not the beer mile beer that I need to be having right now.
even when Miller's like cold, it'll still foam up.
It will.
Now, do you usually keep your beer in a fridge until like how long out? Hour, 2 hours, 6?
So I think the ideal is literally 10 seconds before, if you can handle the cold on the throat.
Sure.
So I guess maybe we should ask the expert. I mean, carbonation's lower if it's a lower temperature of the beer as well. Or it's like less likely to foam up, I guess would be a better way to put that. Or am I completely wrong?
Actually, it's the opposite.
Oh boy! This is where we cut.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, this might be inside baseball, where it's like, actually, if it's really hot.
So here's what past beer milers have said and done. So everyone has said, so you don't want the beer like 35 degrees because it just burns on your teeth and it burns going down.
It's cold.
But you also don't want it 70 degrees because one, it's not enjoyable, but also the common thought is that then it's more likely to kind of like fizz up on you, foam up on you.
So, carbonation, it stays in beer, I guess, easier at colder temperatures. So as it warms up, the gas wants to come out of it. So
gotcha. So it's balancing like the spill factor versus like how much your gut is going to take.
Yeah.
Still left in the beer.
Okay.
I mean, I still think that makes sense from the speed to drink it.
That's the thing. The main
is slower.
The main focus is the speed to drink, which would mean
and you just
don't want it to.
You just gotta suck it up when
it's in your stomach.
Really
Exactly. Yeah. That's always so most people at the World Championships, the elites will have their basically everyone will bring like their little personal cooler and have their beers on ice, and then then it's all scientific. Like some people will be like, I always take my beers out 45 minutes before the race or 20 minutes before the race, and it depends on the temperature of the day too. If it's an 80-degree day, people will be like 10 minutes before. I don't know. It's like kind of scientific, but kind of not. Like,
everybody's got their own kind of like superstitious practices.
That's right.
Et cetera.
I don't know. I think the last few I've done, it's usually in the winter because tracks are empty in the winter. No,
that's right.
You go in the summer, it's crowded, and so it's just like the beer is freezing cold.
And that's just part of the game.
So you gotta freezing cold.
It really adds to the suffering of like, I'm cold, the beer is cold, the beer is making me colder.
Yes, exactly. So what do you think of these beers? Which
there's two that
we're drinkable enough to finish.
I'm scared of 6.5%.
Yeah. So you think the Prairie Path is the one?
It might be the one.
It might be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that it being gluten-free would help at all with your stomach? Probably not during, but maybe post.
Probably would just be individual, based on the individual, I guess.
If you're sensitive.
If you're sensitive to it, I don't know. What else can we ask?
Well, on my side, do you guys got any favorite beer miles or beer mile memories? I don't know. I don't know anything about
you guys.
That's good.
The beer 2 mile record that you set, what was that, 2021?
2 miles.
20.
Is it 2020?
I think it was 2020. Yes, it was 2020. It was 20.
Wow.
It's been.
Because
it's like 2.5 years.
It was like October of 2020, wasn't it?
Yes.
Towards the end of the.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's 8 beers and 8 laps. So it's back-to-back beer miles.
And what was the record before was
11:39.
Okay, 11:39.
So that's like back-to-back 550s, basically 549s.
Yeah.
But the main constraint is. It still is the same rule of if you vomit, you have to do a penalty lap.
Yeah.
So it's really like if you can do it without vomiting, like that's what you have to do in order to get the record.
Yeah.
So I had tried it 4 or 5 times, and every time like threw up on like beer 5, beer 6, beer 7, you know. And then eventually there was one day where my stomach just handled it.
Wow.
And I made it the whole way.
Your
And
lottery ticket of a day.
The last one, you're kind of like almost walking, like keep it down, keep it down.
So you did that, and like I recorded it. Didn't we like go home after that? And that was like episode 2 of the podcast?
2 of the podcast, or
Something
3
like
or
that?
1, or
That
it was one of the first ones.
That was crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, if you can keep it down, then it's a fun event. You only need to do once. I wouldn't recommend you do it ever.
I was just gonna say
But for me, I did it that one time, and I'm like, okay, I got the record. I'm never doing it again. Never doing it again.
I feel like it's not my least favorite, but certainly the most pain I've been in has been the Chunder Mile.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is what, 7 3/4 beer?
Yeah, 7 2/3
It's
beers.
80 ounces, so it's 4 imperial pints.
Oh.
Yeah, it's with before. So the beer mile has now become more of a world
Like a
thing because of the
standardized.
World Classic. But in Europe, they don't have 12-ounce bottles typically, and they also typically they have their version of the beer mile, which is called the Chunder Mile, has always been out of pint glasses. So you can drink a lot quicker, but they do the imperial pints, which are 20 ounces. So it's 4 of those, and they never had rules there around
Puking.
penalty laps. Yeah. It was always just you can puke if you want.
It's like it's going to slow you down.
It's gonna kind of
it's still in your favor
to not puke.
Right.
But yeah, so it's like a different sport basically, because now it's 80 ounces of beer instead of 48 ounces of beer.
Which is
and also
Yeah.
and also some people can chug, like I can chug really well out of a bottle, but I'm not that great out of a pint glass. Versus some of those guys can just take the pint glass and just dump it down their throat.
Out of a bottle, I mean, at most you're gonna drink it in 5 seconds.
So yeah, it's like
But-
it comes out in like 5-ish seconds,
But for
6
a
seconds.
pint,
It comes out as quick as you can put it down
You
your
just
throat.
pour it down
Yeah.
your throat.
Yeah. So some of those guys in England especially, their pint chugging abilities are unreal.
That's when it's more like a freak of nature. Like because those guys will drink it in like 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Just down the hatch.
Yeah, just pour it.
When we did, I don't know how many you've done, but I've just done the one.
I've only done
You,
2.
however-
I've only done 2.
Whether it's, I think it was like 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
that was significantly harder than the beer mile. I think I ran like 9 minutes for the Chunder Mile and ran a 6 something
For the beer
mile.
Yeah, it's like almost double the amount of beer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That hurt. What's your favorite memory?
Oh, I mean, those are all good. Any post-race, any post-Worlds party, even pre. I mean, the Swedish team especially, Swedish and Norwegian teams are they'll get to Chicago for like this year. They'll get to Chicago. I don't know if they'll probably still do this. Every year they'll like get to the event 2 days before. So they'll get here on Thursday. They'll get off the plane. They'll be like, we should do a practice beer mile because we got a race Saturday. They'll do a practice beer mile. They'll go out all night. Friday, we should probably do another practice beer mile to get ready for Saturday. They'll do another one, but then maybe they won't go out Friday night just to be safe, or maybe they'll only go out till midnight, and then they'll do the race, and then after the race, we'll do like a beer mile relay where it'll be a 4x4 after the race. Last year, and I think the year before, maybe not last year, but for sure in England, they also did a Chunder Mile after the beer mile championship, like when the cameras were cut, do a Chunder Mile. Fortunately, they did that with non-alcoholic beer, so it was like it was more just.
This year, the relay, we were like,
we need to do non-alcoholic
if you've
beer.
competed before, you need to do non-alcoholic.
Yeah,
beer.
Because there are times where people leave this event and they're like 6, 7 beers deep in an hour, 8 beers deep in an hour. It's like we can't condone that. That's not.
Like, stop racing.
Yeah, stop. So this year it's the beer mile, and then if you want to do any other stupid events at the thing afterwards when the cameras are cut, like NA beer, like NA beer, which is fair, and then you can go out after that. But so the memory is really just any of the chaos of all these people coming together, because they come together once a year and they're just like high energy, like it's vacation, it's competition, I never see my country mates, and I'm seeing my country mates.
There's also like 13, 14, 15 other countries. Everybody speaks different languages.
Yeah.
I thought that was...
Fortunately, they all speak English pretty well.
Shout out to them.
They're bilingual or multilingual, and we're typically not as much, but...
just the one.
Yeah. But they're fun. They're fun. You'll see some characters, for sure.
Is there any favorites coming into this year?
For winning the title?
For winning the title?
Canadian, Corey Belmore with the world record.
Corey Belmore is probably like the equivalent of Tiger Woods, I would say, in terms of dominance. Like,
I mean, he's literally never lost. So there's that.
Okay.
And so for him, it's a matter of how much can he beat his world record by. The women's side, though, will be complete toss-up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's I don't know, 5-6 women within 10 seconds of the world record.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're all going to be, right there. Melanie's one of them, and it's going to be chaos. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be whoever's having their on day is going to probably both get the world record and win. It's just a matter of like, it could be one of 5 people, 6 people, 7 people. It'll be nuts. So, and it being in the U.S., we actually have more domestic folks that are going to come out and do it that maybe wouldn't travel normally for it. So there might be some new talent that we're not even aware of at this point that just show up. And
that's been one of the more
even on the guy side too. There's been some random US guys who are like, hey, I'm a sub 4 miler. Like, I want to come do this. I'm like, okay. I mean, sure. Yeah. And they're only going to come because they're like, oh, I live in, Missouri and I can just drive up for
states away. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So kind of anyone's game. Like, I think Corey, as long as he doesn't
puke,
have any stomach issues, I think he's a lock for first. The question is like, how many world records get broken and by how much time?
Yep.
But I think I feel like people will put in some surprising efforts on both men and the women's side.
Yeah.
And being in Chicago, you never know what that weather's going to be like on July 1st.
That too.
If it's 100 degrees, that might.
100 or actually 100 is probably worse than cold. I don't know. Wind is the other thing.
Just like off of rough memory, like what's the hottest beer? Actually, probably the one in Colorado we did. 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, in terms of just like how bad a beer mile has sucked, it was that one. Like 90 and
yeah. So,
but the world champs have never had a terrible weather event. I mean, I think the worst case has been like a somewhat, like a 15 mile per hour wind day. But still 50 degrees has been like the worst that we've ever had. So, God, I hope that, we'll see. I'm expecting it to be somewhat hot, which is a balance. Like if it is like 70s, 80, it'll be nice for just people spectating, which is good. But for racing a little tougher, I think the main thing is I don't want wind or rain. That's the big, because I want people to show up. And if it starts raining or whatever, like people not showing up will be the tougher part. Or our film team will be a little, I don't know. They were asking me about contingency plans and stuff. And I was like, it's got to happen. There's no contingency. I was like, if it's storming, we delay. Like, if anything, we cut the open heats if we absolutely have to. And
we find a window of 30 minutes
to run the championship races. But hopefully that doesn't come to that.
Yeah.
There's no backup when you have people flying in from around the world and they all have flights out on Sunday. There's no backup plan. Like you're staying at the track until it's run. Which is not great, but it is what it is.
I also feel like there's like kind of an unspoken thing where they're like, look, I'm coming out to do this, whether it's 70 degrees at 5 p.m. when I'm ideally doing it, or if it's 10 p.m. and we got to run it late at night, like that's what they're going to do.
Exactly. So what's the capacity of Two Brothers right now in terms of how many, cans or bottles are you producing a day, or however you measure it, I guess? How many fluid ounces of beer are you producing a day?
Let me just whip out my calculator.
It's normally we do it in barrels per year annual.
Okay.
And right now we're going to be around 15,000 this year, which is it's decent. It's respectable. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what's the trajectory been? Like, what has that increased year over year?
Well, it's down a little bit from 5-7 years ago. I mean, craft beer was really at its peak around then, and now there's so many more breweries and pandemic and made everything tough. But we're still hanging in there making beer
for sure. And where you guys are distributed to how many states now?
It changes, but we're probably in 6 or 7 right now.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Mostly the Midwest.
Yep.
And I think we're also in Maryland. But beer's a relationship business. So
definitely,
when you know somebody out there and it's like, hey, I want your beer. It's like, All right. If you're going to sell it,
Absolutely.
we'll send it to you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We used to be, a little more, we had a few more East Coast states and kind of we're in Florida, but so many of those beer scenes have blown up so much that they went a lot more local. So we did too. So we're more Midwest now these days.
Makes sense. And then the other thing, now I'm thinking of all the questions. the coffee side of the business.
Yeah.
So what, how long has that been around, and what's the, because I think you guys are in Costco for Two Brothers Coffee.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen you guys in Costco. So when did that start? And like, it seems to be, you got quite a distribution on the coffee side of the business.
It's been around probably a little over 10 years now. I think it was just born from like, hey, we like making products with flavor. And coffee is one of the most flavorful products there is out there. I mean, we got to start our day with something. And again, with the relationship, met our head roaster or director of coffee. And it was, hey, we can do that here. So I came on board, and he's been roasting for 10 years. And
wow.
Is
that national in Costco, or is it local?
No,
Costco's?
it's local.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That still is, it's awesome. When we pulled up here, we saw the couple of the coffee vans pulling out. So that was,
we deliver our own coffee, not to Costco because they take it by the pallet, but everybody else we deliver locally. Coffee's different from beer. Beer is a lot more regulated in how you can distribute. Sure. You can either be a small brewery and self-distribute or go through a distributor. Coffee, you can do both. You can do anything.
Right.
Whatever you want. So we distribute local coffee shops and grocery stores, but Costco, gets its own palate because Costco knows how to move product.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you have any coffee beers on tap, or just in general? Do you produce coffee? Yeah, the beans plus the beer.
We do coffee Northwind. Most winters it's our Imperial Stout, and coffee seems to blend,
pretty well with that.
But we've tried some other ones. We've done a coffee IPA. We did a coffee version of Domaine DuPage.
I've actually had that one.
But they blend well together.
Coffee and beer, best friends.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, man, I think I remembered the rest of my questions.
There we go.
Close it out.
There we go.
Okay.
Let's go make some Prairie Path beer mile beer.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, on a hard day's work. Only thing left to do is a chug. Cheers. Smooth.